Can I steal you for a minute?
Steal you for a minute?
Can I steal you for a minute?
Welcome to Can I Steal You for a Minute, the reality dating recap podcast. My name is Indra Raj.
And I'm Mary Bianco.
And it's episode number 2 of the week. Aren't you all so lucky?
Yeah, we're back.
We're back. This always happens because we literally have to catch up on long episodes.
They were so long and they're dropping 3 more tomorrow.
At least it's just 3, though. It just felt like such a slog to get through these 6 episodes, partly because it's 6 episodes, and then partly because, like, this season is just weird.
This season sucks. Like, it really is, like, not good. Someone on TikTok brought a good point that, like, all of the interesting people in DC have too high of security clearance and they can't go on TV shows like this. So, like, we lost, like, a large batch of people who could have been on the show because if you work in federal government, you can't really go on a show like Love is Blind.
Right. So it's like the dregs.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
That's kind of how it feels.
It's just like there are some people who I like more than I did before. I just feel like we know everybody a little bit more now that we're into the honeymoon or whatever you call it. What the Mexico part of it.
Yeah, the retreat.
Yeah, the retreat. Like, this is when you really see people's true colors, their actual dynamics. Like, I finally, like, know who all the couples are. Like, it took me a little while to even
Can
just,
keep
like,
them apart.
Yeah, and it is very annoying that Tyler and Ashley and Tim and
Alex,
like, have the same first letters of their names.
I know.
Because I use first letters a lot of people's names to remember who they are. And it's just very confusing.
Yeah, it's really confusing. And I feel like the way the guys talk, like they have very similar like energy about the way that they speak sometimes. So I get them confused too. But I learned some news about Tyler and I will never forget what he looks like.
Okay, so Mary told me about this yesterday, and I asked her to save it until now. Okay, hit me. What is it?
Tyler has 3 children. He has not mentioned.
Wait a minute. He hasn't said this to Ashley yet?
Nope, we haven't heard him talk about the kids. I guess the mother's mom, the grandma, went online and was like, anyone seen this man? His 3 children are looking for him.
Wait, the grandma outed him?
The grandma
I'm obsessed with
outed
that.
him. I guess I learned a little bit more about the situation. The grandma had put up all these really cute photos, like them doing like, you know, one of those like backdrop photo shoots, them at like a pumpkin patch, them celebrating Christmas together. Tyler's mom was posting like, oh my gosh, look at my grandsons. They're so cute. Tyler's wearing t-shirts that are like being a good example of being a dad, stuff like that. His response to this was that the woman that he had the children with primarily dates women and identifies as a lesbian, and this was more of a sperm donor situation. So,
okay.
But his involvement with them, if it is a sperm donor situation, doesn't really make sense and still is something that your fiance should know about. And it just feel like, would they have cut that convo?
Right. And it's like, it's not an anonymous sperm donor situation.
No, he's like with them all of the time.
Yeah, so this is very important information. And like sketchy on so many levels. Like, one, that you wouldn't tell the woman you got engaged to and say profess your love to. And 2, that like that's how you're treating these kids who you're like in their life, like that they don't exist. Like, that's really not cool either.
No, it's really weird. And I guess like he was very present in their lives until like a year ago, and they knew about him going on the show. They were very supportive about it. Like, him and the mother are not in a relationship.
Right.
But then he didn't talk to them for a year and he owes child support. Sperm donors don't pay child support. So there's something not adding up in this situation.
Wait, he owes child support?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is not a sperm donor situation. He's lying.
Yeah, he's lying, and that's not the only thing he lied about. He was texting other women during his engagement to Ashley. So
Like
I
the
don't
part
know.
we're about to see.
Yeah, so I don't know if that happens on the show and it gets revealed, or they get married and then it comes out after, but this is what's going on TikTok.
Wow,
with
Mary,
Tyler.
your intuition.
I know, I did not like him. I couldn't put my finger on
And
it.
you did not know about this.
I didn't know about this. I knew about it watching episode 3 on. I made a meme about it because I watched it late, but
Right.
I did not know about this, and I was just like, something is off about this guy, and here we are.
Well, everything's just like a little too perfect
Mhm.
with him and Ashley. I mean, I actually feel that about all of these couples. Like,
Yeah.
it's too good to be true,
Yeah.
really.
I don't believe the sex is amazing for all 6 of you couples. I'm sorry.
No.
How much they talked about on the beach, I don't think it's that good for anybody.
Wait, I'm going to say, like, isn't there one couple who did? I was very confused by all the coded messages around who slept with who.
Yeah.
Like, is it like everybody slept with each other?
That's what Nick and Hannah were saying to each other.
Okay, but I don't think they knew. Like, I think maybe Tyler and Ashley didn't sleep together.
Tyler and Ashley talked about being abstinent, but then it seemed like after the conversation with the girls on the beach that Hannah had heard that Ashley and Tyler had sex.
Okay. Unclear.
I don't know. Yeah.
That was an interesting conversation too. Like, they clearly didn't talk about much in the pods.
No.
Like,
No.
they were like, oh yeah, we didn't really talk about sex much.
Yeah, I don't know what they did talk about.
No, I mean, I think that like we see this in the pods from time to time where couples just go off of vibes.
Mhm. Yeah.
And like you can get a vibe from someone when you're
Yeah.
just talking to them for sure, but like you're spending hours talking about things. They give you like prompts about your life. Like how did these things not go? I mean, the sex thing is one thing, but like the kids thing, like that's active lying,
Yeah.
manipulation, not okay.
Yeah, it's just weird. Like it's just another thing. Like when all the couples were reunited, and this is happening with a lot of couples, I really felt like so many of the conversations were so vapid. And this
Right.
season, even we were texting about this, even though they are an older cast, there's so much talk about the way people look and
Yeah.
who and like sexuality, not in like terms of like sexual orientation, but like just having sex, and those are
Right.
important things to talk about, but that's all that they're talking about. It's very vapid and empty this season.
Right. And I mean, yeah, there's going to be some element of that when you first meet someone after
Yeah.
you've fallen in love with them emotionally. Now it's like the physical part. But like, I feel like the only couples that I saw who got beyond just that conversation, or maybe the only couple was Garrett and Taylor.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Like Ramses and Marissa, I think could have, but they're the only couple who I believe like they did have good sex.
Yeah, no, they're like fucking like bunnies. Like they cannot stop. It's like I just at a certain point was like, I'm sorry, Marissa, I cannot listen to you yell about having sex with Ramses again. Like
I know.
they had such good conversations in the pods about like
Yes.
gender equality and how they didn't want to take on these traditional roles, and how politics are so important to form who a person is, and
Yes.
how they looked past, and then they meet in person and all they do is talk about having sex.
Yeah. For them, again, I'm sort of giving them a pass.
Yeah,
Because it's like they did get into deeper topic. They seem like I like their relationship.
Yeah,
It
me too.
feels real to me. They
Yep.
feel like real people. Ramses is like a little too curated in terms of how he looks for me. But I find his way of being probably the most attractive of all the men.
Yeah.
I think he's very thoughtful, and I really like when the women were like interrogating all the guys at
Yeah.
the drinking night, like he had the best answer
Of
about like
course.
what do you like about Marissa? He like actually said something thoughtful and
Yeah.
real about her that was like, oh yeah, this is real. Like that scores a lot of points with me. So I was like, I like his personality, I think the most out of all the men.
Yeah, I think I agree. I want to see like more. I'm glad that she picked him
Yeah.
over the other guy.
Yeah, Bowden.
Bowden.
Yeah.
I'm glad she picked him over Bowden. I think that her
Yeah.
and Ramses were a better fit. I think she's finding Ramses more physically attractive than she would have found Bowden. And I think that she's like
Yeah.
really enjoying that part. I don't mind really watching them kiss that much. I can't watch Monica and Steven kiss anymore.
Monica and Steven make me feel very uncomfortable.
I do not like it.
I just their energy is so like it's like wild energy or something. And it's too off the wall. It's just like happening too much.
Yeah,
And
it's they
ugh.
don't listen to each other. Like, you know, they get engaged. When they're
They
sitting on
don't listen to each other.
They
That is
don't.
exactly what it is.
We said this last episode. We had barely seen anything of them where we were like, they don't have a real conversation. They just both say what they want to say, and then
Yeah, they just talk past one another.
and Monica finally said it. She was like, "I love you. I'm obsessed with you. I cannot get a word in."
Yeah, and she was like, and he was like kind of giggling. She was like, yeah, it's funny, but it's like also not that funny. Like I'm trying to be a little bit serious here. And
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, like I think they're kind of perfect for each other.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's too much. It's like maybe it will break down at some point. I mean, they tease that he like potentially cheats on her or something.
That would just be too fucking perfect if Fozzie Bear literally cheated on like
the most gorgeous.
Yeah, she's stunning. Like Taylor calls her
Stunning.
Miss Universe because she's
Yeah.
just like so. I had to look it up. I was like, "Is she Miss Universe?" And I was like, "No, it's just."
I know,
actually a
I'm so
great
glad you
nickname."
looked it up because I was wondering. I was like, wait, is she actually Miss Universe?
No, she just looks like she could be.
100%.
I like think that Monica is so focused on how things look and is now obsessed with the fact that she didn't really care that Steven has kind of like a more blue collar job and that he went
Right.
to a 2-year college. This is maybe not my place to say as a white person. I'm uncomfortable with the way that they talk about race. I know it's not for me to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
I think this like I don't know how to talk about it
Right.
because it's like he's so proud of this fraction of being black in a way that feels tokenizing to me. And if Monica doesn't, then it's not my place to have a problem with it, obviously.
Right.
But I've
Right.
seen on TikTok that other people are uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to talk about it, but I'm just kind of like putting out there that I think there's something fetishizing about that the way he feels about being partially black. And I think that he maybe only wanted to get engaged to a black woman for that reason.
Yeah. I also feel weird about it. When he said the comment about her black girl hair
Headband.
Yeah, her black girl headband before she went to sleep. My body just like tensed up in this way that was like, it's such a small thing and he meant it as a compliment.
Yeah.
But I think it plays into exactly what you're saying here. Like the potential fetishization going on, not only with the woman he's with, but also like, oh, I get to claim this thing that you don't really get to claim. Like, you move through the world as a white man and have without this knowledge for like many years. I don't remember
Like
when he
30
said when
years.
he learned about this, but and you know, like Monica did make a comment about like, oh, he's so proud of like being 1/5 black or whatever, and like kind of making fun of him. I do think that like that comment alone, it is something that could potentially get under her skin.
I think so.
Yeah.
And when I said before, like he only wanted to date I didn't mean he only picked Monica because she was black. I meant like I think he probably would only seriously date the black women on this show because he thinks that that's like a part of his identity that he now has to access.
Right.
And I just don't want him to use Monica to educate him. So I just wanted to clarify that. But again, if she's fine with it, like actually fine with it, then it's not for me to say. But like I do think he is annoying her.
I mean, how could you not be
He's
annoyed by that
annoying.
guy?
Yeah.
He's so fucking annoying. And like, it's just like, she's the one who's talked about the ick the most.
Yeah.
And it just feels like a little bit of an Easter egg to further down the line. Like nothing will give you the ick faster than living with someone and realizing that they're not perfect and you're not actually obsessed with them. And, or maybe you are, but like nobody's perfect. Like the way they talk to each other that like, oh, you're the best, you're everything. Like she literally says to him, like, you're the best guy ever.
Except for my dad.
Oh. It's like, Monica, cool your fucking jets. You don't have to add ever.
I know. I know. It's just like this like rushed like obsession with each other that like now she's overcompensated for the fact that she used to be so materialistic about people, and now she's like, look at this. I don't give a fuck at all. Like look at him. He's gross. Like I don't care. And it's like
I know she's made a lot of comments along those lines.
Yeah, and it does piss me off to see like such a beautiful woman and then like Steven has a shit ton of acne, and it's like acne is acne obviously, but it's just like the standards for men and women over and over and over again on the show are not the same.
No. I mean, Monica should have walked out of anyone that she would have seen coming through there, with the exception of that guy who was really hot, who we never actually saw in the pods. Like, no one matches her level of hotness. So
no, it could have been closer, though.
She seems into him. Like, I think there are little parts of her that are like, okay, maybe and that's okay. It's normal in relationships. Nothing is ever perfect, but it matters what you say and how you act with people. And I think both of them are they're just too over the top.
Yeah.
We just need it to be, it's like, this is what intimacy is.
Mm-hmm.
When we like profess our love in the most absolute terms, and then we can never go back from that. It's like, it's okay to acknowledge that like, this is a very strange situation. You're engaged to someone you've never seen before.
Mm-hmm.
And you're learning a bunch of stuff about each other, and it's okay to have flaws. It's almost like they're not allowed to have flaws.
No, and I think that that's where you're right, that like that will take down the relationship, is that if you like keep putting this person up to where they're perfect, it eventually is just gonna like break down. Yeah, it can't go anywhere but disappointing. And I just don't need her to talk about his boners. I don't like hearing that. It's poking her all the time.
I don't need to hear about the 13. Like, I don't need numbers. I don't need description. I don't need to know that when you did the acupuncture, it felt like the same thing as like his boner. Like,
I don't need any of that.
I mean, it was, I believe that Steven gets boners every 5 seconds.
Yeah, for sure. He's like a 13-year-old boy who like is now living with a model, and he's like, I can't believe this.
It's so funny, like when they show all the men kind of before the first night, like in their confessionals, like he was like, oh yeah, if she wants to have sex, I'm down. And then like Garrett, who's like trying not to say too much, is like, well, I've had such a strong emotional connection, and now, it's like turning into the physical. And like, it's like, you can just say that you want to have sex with her. Like, it's okay.
Yeah, you can just say, I'd really like to have sex with my fiance. Like, that is fine. Because even though it is sped up and you haven't only known each other for a week, like if you guys are going to be fiancés, just embrace being fiancés. Like, I like Garrett and Taylor because sometimes the so secure couple is so boring, but I think because they're both so smart and have like other interests that they're not that boring. And so I'm enjoying watching them.
Yeah, like they have real conversations, which is always refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about real things. They seem like evolved human beings. They're kind of like what I was looking forward to going into knowing that this season had an older generation on it. I was like, oh, we're going to have a lot of these kind of mature conversations. And like, I think we're getting it from them. I think we've gotten it from Marissa and Ramses.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not really seeing it with the other couples. And it sort of signals to me in a way that like for some people, like wisdom does not come with age.
No. You can't
Sometimes
teach
you
it.
just stay where you're at for a very long time, maybe forever. Like there's this class I took in graduate school called adult development, which was like one of the best classes I've ever taken. And it's based in this whole framework that this professor created around like the stages of adult development. And like he calls them orders, and there's like 5 of them. And it's just like any of these things
Yeah.
where you like, speaking of frameworks, we have to talk about the Myers-Briggs that came out of Leo's mouth.
Oh, yeah.
You're-
I don't remember it.
Oh, okay. I'll bring it up in a second. But
Yeah.
it's kind of like, it's not that. I think it's more evolved and there's a lot of nuance to it. But it's like, I can't explain the whole thing here, but it's like basically most adults never get past order number 3. They sort of get stuck there for whatever reason. It's sort of like he breaks it down in like evolutionary terms and like tribal terms and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of like reasoning behind that. But it's very hard for people to kind of transcend level 3, which one of the hallmarks of that is like caring a lot about what other people think of you.
Yeah.
And just kind of like being really worried about like sort of like basic shit.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is like what we all need to get along in life. And that's kind of like the basic bare bones that we need. And it feels like most of these couples are like in level 3 and like they might always be there.
Yeah, I think that that's right. Like I think seeing like even Tim and Alex, they seemed like, I think because they had both been through a lot,
Yeah.
there was like this false maturity attributed to both of them.
Yeah.
Also, like Netflix, what is the deal that like they get into a huge fight and are sleeping in a separate room and we don't see it? Like,
Right.
that's like, and then Leo and Brittany not getting invited to Mexico. That's a whole other thing that we'll get to. But it's like,
Right.
I don't necessarily need to see people upset, but like they're leaving a party, they're headed back to their room. There's a
Yeah.
decision to sleep separately, and we get like the tail end of it talking about it in the morning. And so it just feels like it came out of nowhere.
I feel like it was really bad.
Yeah, it
Like potentially too upsetting for
Yeah.
the viewers to watch because but I also feel like they probably could have shown even just the beginning of when they got home, like you said,
Yeah.
you know, maybe leading up to it or whatever. But it does not like it sounds a little like almost like scary to me
Yeah,
what
like-
happened.
when Tim said I don't take being called any name besides my name lightly,
Right. Or the
think-
part where he was like, she said, like, when I put my hand over your mouth,
yeah.
which is like, you know, like I'm no stranger to having like a disagreement or argument in my relationship.
Mhm.
To get so close to your partner in an angry way that you can literally put your hand over their mouth it just feels like a lot to me.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think I would have been upset watching that. And that's why I feel like they didn't include it.
Yeah, that's probably right. I think, yeah, I do wonder what's gonna come out of it. It sounds like she was kind of the aggressor, at least
Yeah.
based on the conversation that they had, because she did seem kind of closed off at the party. So I don't know what else was going on and what's gonna come out.
Well,
But-
she said leading up to that, one of their first conversations on the retreat was she was talking about how she has issues with her temper. Like
Mhm.
she said that
Yeah.
straight up. And Tim was like, okay, that's a real issue for me in relationships. I tend to shut them down the minute any sort of conflict like that comes up because I don't want to be that person. And then lo and behold, it happens like night 2.
Immediately. Yeah, I have some concerns. I don't know what is going to happen because they were so cute in the pods. You know, like
I
he gave
know.
her like his sister's bracelet that was a gift from one sister to another. And, you know, she was so touched by that. But I think, again, like they had both just talked so much about the traumatic parts of their life
Right.
and not about what life between them would look like. And obviously there's only so much that Netflix can show us, but it's like
Right.
kind of felt like they were strangers. Like they
Yes.
did not, like when they met in person, it was kind of like they did not get each other's sense of humor. Like
Right.
it was very awkward.
It was super awkward. Before, I need to ask you about the dog thing because I don't understand it. But
hate
like, it reminds me a lot of like the way Bachelor Nation shows go because you know the contestants are always encouraged to tell their sob story when they get alone time with the lead.
Mhm.
And there's a very specific reason that they're told to do that or that they do that. It's because it creates a sense of closeness between them. It like cements your bond with someone when you are open and vulnerable with them about something difficult that's happened to you. And that's an important part of intimacy and a relationship and feeling safe with someone. Absolutely. But that's really not everything. And it really felt like the only thing that they got to on an intimate level in the pods was these very difficult stories that they had. Like you said, they didn't really know each other or like anything about each other beyond that.
Yeah.
Which like, yeah. I mean, and like the dog thing, I didn't understand it. All I knew was that every time he said it, she like freaked out and got mad.
Yeah, I think it's like, me and Ethan have this thing where he'll repeat a joke over and over again because he thinks it's funny. And I'm like, if it's just us home alone and I'm your audience of one, do you think like maybe a joke that I don't find funny isn't worth repeating over and over again? And so I think that she just doesn't think the dog thing is funny.
Right.
And he keeps doing it. And she's like, okay, like enough with the fucking dog thing. Like you said it. She was annoyed the first time we saw it. So I can't imagine how many times he said it. It's just like a phrase. Like got that dog in me is just like, I'm a bad boy. I'm whatever.
Right.
And I think he just keeps saying it. And it's just really annoying.
Oh, is that what he said? I was like, oh, did I miss some sort of like thing that they had around this? But okay, it was literally just him saying the phrase over and over.
Yeah, it was. And like he has a dog and he wants to go get his dog. But he like, instead of just being like, it would mean a lot for my dog to be with me. He's like, that's my dog. Like, I got that dog in me. He's got that dog in him. And it's like, she's like, enough. Like, I can't.
Right. Which is like, that's ick territory.
This is the season of the ick.
Yeah, there's a lot of ick stuff going on.
The men suck. Like, I just like they
really do.
Like, we just talk about the Leo, Nick, Hannah, Brittany quadrangle.
Yeah, because we have to talk about how that all ended. Because so in Leo's rant, what do you call it? Where the
mental
the
breakdown?
Way he was treating Hannah was, I mean, he was yelling at her.
He was throwing a tantrum like a 4-year-old that did not get their way. Nothing made sense. He was like rocking back and forth. He was like, how could you do this? Oh my God, I was going to do this. I was going to do that. And it's like, he fully is just lying on TV. And he's like, I wanted to talk to you. I was going to cancel our date this morning. I wanted to cancel our second date. And then this goes through with it. And I want to talk, but then I also want to talk to you first because now Nick said it first. And that's why you love him first. And I want to propose to you right now. And then later in the night, he's like, please tell Brittany that like, she was always my number one, that like, this was mutual, that I was going to cancel our date.
This guy literally cannot not be on top of every situation. And during the tantrum, he goes, we're both ENTJs. We're both ENTJs.
I did not catch that. Oh my God.
I don't know how you feel about Myers-Briggs. I think it's kind of a load of bullshit. But like it's too reductive, I feel like. And I actually listened to a podcast about like how it was developed, and like it's definitely bullshit.
Yeah.
And like it's just so funny that like Leo clearly like is obsessed with
Oh yeah. It's also like, of course he'd pick ENTJ, the CEO. Like
yes.
It's like intuitive thinking, and like they're not intuitive.
No, it's all the things you want to be and are not, Leo.
Yeah.
The way he was just like that part where he was sitting next to Nick trashing Hannah.
I know.
I actually like, how do you feel about Nick now? Because I kind of like the dude.
I got the ick. I feel a little
No, I'm not attracted to him.
No, I feel a little bad for him. Like, I think he's set up to fail with Hannah. Like,
right.
He screwed himself by saying he looks like Henry Cavill, because she came into that engagement being like, oh, he lied to me.
Right. Which is exactly what happened with Chelsea and what's his name?
And Jimmy.
I mean, Jimmy got over it real fast. But he was like, she does not look like Megan Fox.
No, but then Nick was like, pointed out that he was like, I also said that I was like a football kicker, 5'9", and like lean.
So I don't know
Right.
why, like, kickers are always tiny. So I don't know why she thought that he would be like a big buff guy. It's like, hate to break it to you, Han, Leo's also tiny. So like, you were not
Right.
talking to big boy back there either way. So it
Right.
doesn't really matter what Nick said. And Nick is definitely the better guy.
Definitely.
I just think he's like not, I don't think he knows himself that well. And I think he can only make like dumb jokes about sex. Like, I think that that's like where he's capped out at this moment. And so is Hannah.
Yeah, he's not very deep.
No.
Like, but at the same time, I think he's like an okay human. You know, like
Yeah.
I don't think he's a bad person, which is like a lot.
Yeah.
You know, that's like better than most. And I think he has been pretty genuine with Hannah.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I think he means it every time he tells her she's beautiful, and then
Yeah.
he cares about her, and he has more of like a soft energy than I thought he was going to.
Yeah.
They keep using the word soft in this show, which is maybe why I just said that. I absolutely think soft is a good thing in men,
me
like
too.
100%. So I feel like he cares about her, and I appreciate that, because I was really worried he was going to be an asshole.
Yeah, I was too. I think like it broke my heart a little bit after the duck thing. This is so stupid. The main fight is about a duck. He's riding like this duck thing.
Okay, so what was your read on that? I mean, obviously Hannah was just fucking jealous.
Hannah was already done with him. Like, I don't know why.
Right.
Like, Hannah was like, I'm going to get the ick. I was like, you already have it. Like, you're already annoyed by everything he says. You already wrote up a list of reasons that, like, you don't want to be with him, or, like, questions that you have.
I think that she wrote that after the duck incident.
Well, the duck incident was clearly the last of like, a whole, like, running list of violations that she already had about him. And, like, I don't.
Right. That's so funny. I see it differently.
Oh, you saw her, like him up until that point?
I think she still likes him.
Oh.
I think she likes him a lot, actually.
Oh, I thought she got the ick.
Oh, no. I think she was saying that because she didn't want to admit that she was really just fucking jealous. And like, it takes one to know one. I've been Hannah. I know what it's like to be her. Like,
you've been jealous over an old lady hopping on a duck with your...
Okay. Well, not that. Okay, to be fair, like, I was watching while I was driving. So I wasn't actually watching because I needed to be safe.
Yeah.
Like, so I was kind of listening. So I didn't actually like see the woman.
She wasn't that old. I'm being kind of mean. She was like 55. Right. She had a good body. Like, she had a bikini on.
Right.
And she did kind of make she didn't say exactly what Hannah said. She didn't call Hannah a bitch. She just said, I think she's jealous.
She's
like,
jealous.
As like a joke.
Which is like, Hannah, I just saw so much insecurity in Hannah.
Oh,
in that moment. I feel like she has connected with Nick. Emotionally and physically and all these things, and I think she's in it.
Yeah.
And I think that she got really vindictive really fast.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
She was like, I'm gonna make a list of all the things I don't like about him and leave it out so he can read it.
Yeah.
Like, what? That's so mean.
I don't think they're making it to alter. Like, I think that she is being mean, and
she is.
I actually don't think there's coming back from how all over the place she was with Leo. Like, obviously she came around to it. Like,
right.
She cut Leo off, but it was close for a really long time. And
yeah,
I just can't imagine having sex with Nick. I just feel like he would be so weird about it.
And she made reference to something being weird. She kind of like glossed over it, but there was a mention of it at the like pool party.
Yeah, I just feel like he would like give your boobs nicknames or something. Like, he would just like do something so weird. And he does seem like a nice-ish guy, but I just don't think he's like ready to be married, and neither is she.
And she's really not ready to be married.
No.
Like, these two are too immature. They're really not ready. Like, they really should not get married. I'm not rooting for them.
No, me neither. And I don't think that they are together, because I've seen Hannah on TikTok recently, and she did Ozempic after the season. So
really,
she's really thin now.
Interesting. Okay. honestly, I think the body insecurity stuff
Mm-hmm.
that she was very vocal about
Mhm.
is obviously very real for her. And I actually think that played into this whole duck situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you're saying like the woman had a good body. It's
Yeah.
almost like it didn't even matter how old she was. It was like there's comparison. There's a lot of comparison
All the
that Hannah
time.
does with other people and other women. And there's a lot of like insecure, when like someone like talks themselves up too much,
Yeah.
it's really just coming from a place of actually being insecure about all those things. I feel like I get that from Hannah too. Like it's just written all over her face. And
Yeah.
like, I feel bad for her because I think she's struggling with some things.
Yeah.
And I want her to move past them, and maybe going on Ozempic and getting the body she wants will help with that.
Maybe.
I don't think it will.
Yeah.
But, that's where she is in her journey, I
Yeah,
guess.
and she'll figure it out. I think she just went on this show like wanting everything. Like she wanted to
Yeah.
fall in love with a guy without seeing what he looked like, but she wanted the assurance that he'd be extremely hot. Like I think that
Yes.
she just kind of wanted all of it. Like she didn't actually want to take a risk and like be surprised by what somebody looks like. Like I think she wanted to be assured that she'd still end up with somebody super hot. And it's funny because Ethan had not been watching at all. And last night I was like catching up, and he like saw Leo and he was like, "Oh, that's a good looking guy." And I was like, "What?" And then he
Ew.
said the same thing about Nick. And I was like, "Oh, if you don't know them at all, are they good looking? Like, I don't understand."
Yeah, maybe isn't it funny how that happens? Like
It's so
people can
strange.
transform based
Yeah.
on their personalities.
Yeah.
At least for me.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I think it's just like with all of these couples, everything we're talking about is like really sort of revealing like maybe love can be blind or whatever. But like what I know for sure is that going into a pod and meeting someone through a wall who you've never seen doesn't change who you are.
No.
Fundamentally.
No.
The things that you go in wanting are going to be the things that you look for and try to cement through the process. It's very rare. I can't even think of one couple in all of these seasons who have actually changed their perspective on love or finding relationships through the pods. It's like the people who are already evolved find each other.
Yeah.
The people who are not find each other. The people who have trauma find each other.
Yeah.
Like that's just like happening in spades this season, I feel like.
Yeah, I think that that's kind of it, where it's like everyone is still making the same mistakes that they're still making. Like at the end of the day, Leo proposed to Brittany, and Brittany
and he immediately
yeah
was like, did the look on his face?
Oh my
was
God,
just
I'm
like-
engaged to the hottest girl in the world. Oh my
no,
God.
but like right after the engagement, like when he was still in the pod, it
Mhm.
was like, oh, I got what I wanted.
Yeah.
And then he was already kind of like disappointed.
And she was too. Like she came into
Yeah.
with a list of reasons why it shouldn't be Leo. And then he proposed and she was just like, "Oh, yeah, of course. I kind of feel like we're just boyfriend and girlfriend though." And then he was like, "Okay." And she was under a blanket for it was just so strange. Like I
God.
don't know why she agreed to get engaged to him. And then when she saw him in person, she was like, and he kept
No.
like grabbing her face.
Oh, he was so disgusting with her.
Ugh.
And like, I mean, the reason she said yes is because she craves validation.
Yeah.
Like
He even said that. He said,
he read that about her.
He said,
to give him-
I love you." And she was like, "Okay." And she's like, "I know." And he goes, "I know you liked hearing it." It's like,
Right.
that is so creepy.
It's so disgusting.
Ugh, he's gross.
Yeah, I mean, he was right though. Like when Brittany like cried about the older sugar daddies that she typically dates wanting to be with multiple women and that making her feel bad, I had trouble having sympathy for her in that moment.
I did kind of feel bad for her because I think there's like something else that she's not saying. And I think it's that the way that she looks is fleeting. And I think if you are with someone who wants to pay for you to have this certain kind of lifestyle because of the way that you look, I think there's always going to be someone younger that's coming in right behind you. and the men kind of get to stay the same gross age because they're the ones with the money and the power. And so I feel like she almost said yes to Leo because she was just like, well, he's rich and he's going to marry me and he's not going to go anywhere after that.
Yeah, but I'm like, what century are we living in?
I know.
Like, Brittany, I know, like, I'm not going to sit here and say, like, women have equal stuff to men. Like, we all know that's not true. But we are further along than needing to, like, hitch your wagon to the richest guy in town to be okay in life.
Yeah.
You know? Like, she comes in here saying, I'm a fucking trophy wife. Like, she has made decisions to be in the places she's been and with the people she's been with. And if I have any sympathy, it's that she's so far into that ecosystem that she, like, you can see that she wants out of that in some ways. Like, I think underneath it all, like, she probably does want to have more autonomy and whatever, but she's not putting herself in situations where she's going to get that. Like, Leo was the guy she chose.
Yeah, and I can't understand it. Like when she was like laying back on the couch and he was like on top of her and she just wanted to be away from, I was just like, but also, why did the producers not pick to send them to Mexico?
Well, I think she probably called it off before they could even get on a plane. I mean, I guess they said that they went
to Miami. Yeah.
But they probably they probably got them each alone in separate rooms and said, like, do you really see this going long term? And like, if you don't, then you can go to Miami.
Yeah. Yeah, you can be free. I guess because we had to sit through Irina and Zach. I was just like,
right.
Let me sit through this again.
Right. I mean, part of me wanted to see how things went for them. And then part of me was truly just like so relieved when. Oh, God. Never have I gotten the ick so quickly.
It's like so disgusting. It's so disgusting.
Literally. And like when he did it the second time with Brittany, and she was like, I don't feel like doing that right now.
Yeah, I feel
like,
weird doing that right now.
Oh, God. Actually, I'm going to say it. I am glad I don't need to watch those two anymore. It was never going anywhere good.
Yeah, I actually think that's a good assessment. Like right after she's like, oh God, what have I done? It's like, oof, that's a tough place to be, babe.
Right. Have we talked about, okay, so like Ashley, A, and Tyler, there's not a lot like going on with them at this present moment.
Yeah, I think that they're supposed to be one of the couples that we just assume is going to get married and they'll be fine, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, not with this kind of information.
No.
If you can lie about 3 fucking kids, like you can lie about a lot.
You can lie about pretty much anything. So I don't know what is going to come with them. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Who do you think is getting married?
I think Garrett and Taylor are going to get married.
Me too. I think that's it.
I think Marissa and Ramses might get married.
Oh, yeah. Marissa and Ramses will probably get married.
Yeah. But I am real big question marks on everyone else. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. I unless Tyler's lies don't come out in any kind of way, maybe they'll get married. I doubt Alex and Tim are going to get married at this point.
I mean, after like we're 2 days in and seeing this, I mean, when they showed the preview for the rest of the season, when I saw them shown on it, I was actually shocked.
Yeah.
I was like, I did not think they were going to make it out of Mexico. Like he went into that conversation that we saw in episode 6. Like he said, I was coming in here to end this.
Yeah. And she was being like a little bit manipulative in that she was like, we can make it work. Like, I know we can do this. We can get through anything. So I hope they don't get married. Oh, Monica and Steven will probably get married.
Ugh.
I know.
I'm just exhausted thinking about their relationship. Can you imagine going and having dinner at their house?
No. Can you imagine kissing him?
No.
He's like literally Fozzie Bear.
It's not even that. It's just like his personality, honestly, is like
he always looks like, huh?
Yeah. We'll see where stuff goes. I'm curious to see what the thing is that he messed up on. Like,
Maybe
they're
his
making it
ance-
look like it's cheating. It could be anything,
his
though.
Ancestry.com came back and he's like actually Polish. He got his DNA swapped with someone else.
Was he the one who voted for Trump and had a hard time voting for Biden?
Yeah.
And what was Monica's reaction to that? I can't remember.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I just feel like there's some fundamental things with them that will rear its ugly head
Maybe.
at some point.
I don't-
Maybe after they get married.
Yeah, probably
even.
after they get married. Because I don't know if she's that curious. Like, I think
Yeah. I think you're right about that.
I felt bad for her. You know, there is such a stigma to be 36, a 36-year-old woman and single. And I felt bad for her where she was like, I've gone to all the baby showers. I've gone to all the weddings. I just want like something that's for me and about me. So I think she's just kind of like, oh, my time is up. This is it. And that's just like a sad.
Yeah, she's like, I'm all in. But I don't know. Something tells me she's been like that with other relationships.
Yeah, maybe.
Before. It just
maybe.
she's so that I'm just like, oh, okay. This is not new for you.
No. So maybe.
Yeah, they're a big question mark, but I could see them getting married too.
I could see it going either way with them.
Right. Yeah. They'll probably be like the last couple that we see because it's like the most surprising or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely not a stellar season.
No, it's maybe the worst.
Yeah. I actually even think I liked the Houston season more than this one, which is saying a lot.
And I didn't finish that season because we weren't doing a podcast.
Well, Mary, you're in it now. You have to finish the season. I'm sorry.
I'm going to. It's just like, it's such a bummer where it's like so deeply not bingeable. Like,
I know.
We both were so busy this week, and it would have been so much easier for both of us if it was like such a bingeable show. Like, I went to sleep instead, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Tragically, like, I'm putting this out there. If someone knows like why my phone won't let me download GIFs anymore, like, can you help me? I need tech support.
Yeah, we need tech support because we're missing interest memes.
I had so many, like, and I probably will still find a way to do them with just like stills because there's a lot of things that I just need to reference. Like the ENTJ thing just needs to be memed.
Can you do Canva on your computer?
I do. I could do it on my computer. It's just like
it's so easy
much work to get my computer out.
I know. It's so easy from the phone.
It's so easy from the phone when you're like sitting on the couch even. Yeah. I mean, but honestly, it's not that hard to do it on my computer. So we'll see how it goes. But it is weird that like I like restarted my phone. I like updated the software. I don't know. We shall see. In any case, that is it for that. There's one thing that we forgot to talk about with our Golden Bachelorette recap, which is very important.
Very important.
And that is Jonathan's date with Joan, where he claimed that he had no idea his wife was unhappy and she divorced him out of nowhere.
And I just think, as much as we love Jonathan,
as much as we do,
I just think as women, we know that when we are upset about something and that when something is not working out, we have told our partner in many, many different ways, that this is bothering me and that this is something you need to fix. And maybe Jonathan needed to be hit over the head with, like, I'm unhappy for X, Y, and Z reason. But I find it incredibly hard to believe that his wife was not dropping hints that this was not going well the entire time.
Right. I mean, sure, there can be things bubbling under the surface, but to have no inkling is totally wild. And for her to say that, didn't they have kids together?
Yeah.
Like, it's a big fucking deal to break up your family.
Yeah.
So, like, I can guarantee you it was not a decision she took lightly.
No, and it's like, I see a lot of TikTok trends where it's like women unknowingly will post a video where like they're trying to be funny, where they're like, "Oh my God, like my husband doesn't know where my kids' diapers are, blah, blah, blah." And the comments will be, in quotes, "The divorce completely blindsided me." So just kind of like this code on TikTok where it's like, oh, a couple months from now, the husband's going to be like, "I can't believe she left me." Meanwhile, she's
Right.
like dropping hints all along. So it's a lot of things like that where it's like his kids are relatively young. Like I think
Right.
he's 61. I think they were like 15, 16 years old from the looks of them in the clip. So if I had to guess when he got divorced, it was about splitting parenting duties.
Right. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. We'll probably never find out.
We'll never know.
But like, talk about a big red flag.
Yeah, huge.
Sorry. Like,
Sorry.
Jonathan, your story has been really important to tell this season, but like, if Joan drops you in the next episode, I'm sorry, but it had to happen.
Yeah, I don't think Joan is falling for the divorce came out of nowhere line. I don't think that
No.
she is, that's something that's fooling her at all.
No. And again, like, if someone said that to me, I'd be like,
Yeah, what happened?
This isn't going to work.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. Excited though for this week's episode.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be interesting. So this is coming out during the week. We'll have another episode on Monday where we cover Joan's next Bachelorette episode and potentially the next 3 episodes of Love is Blind. Like, I think I could watch all 3.
I can do it. Yeah.
Yeah, before Friday.
We're like gearing ourselves up.
We're hyping ourselves up.
We have like a full week.
I feel like it's going to get interesting in these next 3 episodes.
It has to. Like, if I didn't know it to producers, like, you guys spent way too much time in the pods. It's
way too much.
4 episodes in the pods is too many episodes in the pods. And
there was a point during the Leo unloading tantrum where Patrick and I at the same time turned to each other and we're like, is this still happening? Like, why are we still watching this interaction?
Ethan got up, went to the bathroom, and he came back and he was like, this guy's still yelling at her? He's like, is this 2 episodes of this guy yelling at her? I was like, no, he just yelled at her multiple times. Like,
oh my God. Like, yeah, it was
tough.
It was a lot. Like, definitely could have left the pods like a full episode earlier.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Especially because these people weren't talking about anything.
No.
And like now they're talking a little bit about some things, but it's like when we're really, I'm hoping gonna see some like rubber meets the road shit is like when they're living together.
Yeah, I hope so, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have high hopes.
Me neither.
But
we'll see.
I'll think positive thoughts.
Yeah, I think the reunion is going to be crazy because we'll have to hear from Tyler and his 3 children.
Fuck yeah, grandma.
Twins and a little boy.
Proud of his grandma.
Me too.
And 100% he was not a sperm donor. I'm going to just say that.
You don't spend Christmas with your sperm donor and your sperm donor is not liable for child support. So
yeah,
that's a father.
Does not compute.
Nope. Something's not adding up.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you everybody so much for listening. We love you. We'll see you next time. And cheers, lovers.
Thanks for listening to Can I Steal You for a Minute? Subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you like the show, please leave a rating and review. Follow us on social media at Can I Steal You for a Minute Pod and support the show through Patreon at patreon.com/Can I Steal You for a Minute.